Good morning, sir.
So what we were discussing last class?
Class conflict theory by Darwin.
Hmm? Come again, Ramesh?
It's a class conflict theory of Darwin.
Darwin. It's not Karl Marx, not Darwin. It's Karl Marx.
Okay, Karl Marx.
Class conflict theory, or you can say Marxist theory of Karl Marx, or you can also say that it is an conflict theory. Okay, so first, in this theoretical perspective, we studied about the functionalist perspective, and then we studied Marxist perspective. So now a very important perspective, which you can say it is an micro level study. It is symbolic interactionalist perspective. Symbolic interactionalist perspective. Now this symbolic interactionalist perspective, both the functionalist and the conflict perspective are concerned about how broad aspects of society, such as institutions and large social groups, influence the social world. That means the functionalist perspective and Marxist perspective, you can give them as the micro level, the macro level study. The study of functionalist and Marxist are huge, broad, broad study. So that is macro theories. Now this symbolic interactionalist perspective, which have a micro level sociological analysis, that concern with the social, the psychological individual interaction, or you can say the man's behavior or interaction in a small group. Symbolic interactionalists reflect the uh, micro sociological perspective because it concentrate
Hello?
is I'm audible to you
No, sir.
now?
No, sir. Voice is breaking, sir, so much.
So now you can.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I was talking about that the before theories which we understood from the functionalist and the conflict theory, that both theories or studies are macro level. The area of study are huge. That social institution or the large group studied by functionalist and Marxist. But whereas symbolic interactionalist, they concerned about the social behavior and its consequences. This symbolic interactionalist perspective largely influenced by the work of early sociologists and philosophers such as George Samuel, C.H. Cooley, George Herbert Mead, and very importantly, Erwin Goffman. So you can say the Herbert Mead and Bumler, Herbert Mead and Bumler are the two founders of this symbolic interactionalist. The symbolic interactionalist or symbolic interactionalism emphasizes or give important that human behavior is influenced by definitions and meanings that are created and maintained through the interactions with others. Like for example, if you're shaking a hand, that means you're attaching some meaning to it. It is a symbol. If you shake your hand and fingers towards you, that means you're calling someone. If you're shaking your head, that means you're denying it, or you're telling that ultimately it is not. Or if you're raising your hand, it's something you're conveying the message. So there are various symbols which we use in our daily life, which has its own definition and meaning. So here the symbolic interactionalists are the, if you see the, if you want to understand this perspective, the best example is looking glass self theory given by C.H. Cooley. Now, this C.H. Cooley, in his looking glass self theory, explains that how an individual design himself by seeing others. The best example you can give to your life, that At morning you get up.
फोकस आपको बैठो जब तक तुम्हें सब रेडी हो जाओ एनर्जी मिल जाओ जाओ खाना को जाओ
Yes, Asma, can you mute your mic? Asma, can you mute your mic? Asma,
क्या
Asma, can you mute your mic? Yes. So the self or the looking glass self theory given by Charles Herbert Cooley, or you can say C.H. Cooley, he explains how an individual design himself or make himself by seeing others. The example is when you get up morning, you get fresh, and why you people are dressing well, why you people make yourself clean, why you people are brushing the teeth, why you people are combing your hairs, because you wanted to impress others, or you look yourself by on others eyes, what they will think if I go like this, if I won't go neatly, what others thinks about me. So you making yourself clean or yourself neat because others may think about you. So in his looking glass theory, he says that you're looking, okay, in a glass, uh, designing yourself because what others may think. So like this, you people make yourself what society thinks. So this behavior. So on simple way, a simple symbolic interactionism concentrate on individual or a small group, primary group. So how an individual's behavior takes place and what are the consequences? The behavior of an individual is wholly and solely depend on looking by others. No one is asking you to brush, but you're brushing your teeth. Why? Because what others may think. So like this, you're looking yourself, and society is a glass. According to C.H. Cooley, and making yourself. That we develop our self concept by observing how others interact with us or label us, or we develop our self concept by observing how others view us, or we by looking society. So now you understood what is interactionist perspective. It wholly solely studies the individual's interaction or various symbols which used by the individual. or you can say it is an micro level study. Did you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it is mainly about how individuals are making themselves or shaping themselves or label. Here the perspective is not yours on you. So this level of study, this small group studies is symbolic interactionalist studies. So the first theoretical perspective, which functionist perspective, we saw that society, how society is functioning, how institutions and different groups are functioning in society. Secondly, we studied Marxist perspective. It's only compare or between two, how different two groups are competing, or how haves and have nots, how rich and poor. So that perspective. The third perspective, symbolic interaction, is a micro level study which concentrate on human interaction and its behavior. And the last perspective in your first chapter or first unit is feminist perspective. So this feminist perspective, you all know this, is a common perspective, or many people think that this is very important perspective in today's world. This feminist theory is a major branch of theory within sociology, which uses the analytical lens focusing on away from the male viewpoint and experience and towards women. So feminist theory can, you can understand like this: sociologists, they believe that historically the dominance of male perspective within social theory is a discriminative theory. Every time we use male perspective and ignore the female perspective. This is the argument of the feminist. So there should be a separate perspective which can focus on a woman's study. Theory or the feminist theory can discrimination and exclusion of basis of sex and gender. How discriminations and exclusions are made on the basis of their gender, and how the structure of society is built upon the male dominant perspectively. or how economically the resources have been unequally distributed in society, or the power and authority, how it lays on only. And they also study how gender roles and stereotypes are made among others. So basically, and discriminations, operations and discrimination on the women's. They believe that the women ignored and they were not given importance. And women are the most oppressed humans on earth, according to feminists. So this perspective understands how in society the power and economic resources unequally distributed and also gender roles and stereotypes is so there are various types of feminist theories. Some feminist theories think how women's the experience of social situation differ from man. Like you have many important types. Some of the important type of feminists are liberal feminist, one type. Then you have radical feminism. You have social and Marxist or Marxist feminism. You have black feminism, and so on. There are various types of feminists. We think that is or the feminist are those who studies women, who concentrate or basically give importance to study the women. But there is a misconception that the feminists are only women's. So any person, irrespective of male or female, and irrespective of male or female, if he studies the woman or carries studies about women, is a feminist. So the first type feminism is liberal feminism. Now what is or who are these liberal feminists? Is my voice audible? Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the first type of feminist or the feminist. The word liberal itself gives an idea that how these people or these sociologists, so these people believes that or argues that women have the same capacity as a man for moral reason and agency. No difference. There is the same capacity as man for moral reason. That means they are capable as man to make their own things. They can reason their own morals, right and what is wrong among themselves. So they argue this that they have same capacity like the man. But the patriarchal society, or you can say patriarchy, has dominated the society. They say that particularly the sexist division of labor. They believe that the sexist division of labor, that means on the workplace mostly preferred for males rather than females. Company new workstations, they give much importance to males. So here in unequal positions in the work opportunity is nothing but the sexist division of labor. Historically denied women the opportunity to express and practice the reasonings. Yeah, uh, it got disconnected. So everyone are there, or just simply they have on and just sleeping.
Yes,
Yes.
sir, we are here. Yes.
Yes, sir, we are here.
Okay. Okay. So I thought that most of people what they do is just they log in and put aside the phone and they do their work. So that
No,
should
sir,
not be
what's
happen.
the problem means it's not hearing properly.
Mm-hmm. So now,
Now it's okay, sir.
okay, okay. What to do? This network is giving some problem, creating some problem here. So here we were talking about the liberalist or liberal feminist. So basically, they, they talk about the equality among the male and female. There should not be discrimination based on the sex or gender, economically, politically, and also the socially. So this is basically they they want the full participation of women, okay, in the public life. There should not be confined as in what do you say that household wives or household women's. So we people differentiate. Many people differentiate that the work of females are only in the house and the males are only outside. So they say that they should not be like this. They should be given full participation in public life as like man. So this perspective is the liberalist perspective. The second type of feminists are the radical feminist. This radical feminist, or you can say they are some extreme, they go beyond extreme level that the radical feminist is a philosophy emphasizing or giving importance to patriarchal roots of inequality between men and women, make social dominance of women by man. They wanted to eradicate or how this inequality is between men and women in social world. So they wanted to criticize the patriarchal division where the male is dominated. They say that the whole power is captured by the man, whose operations are made on women, and the every privilege of state is enjoyed by should not be happen. And they go these radical feminists, they wanted to have a radical change. They wanted to uh, reverse it in each and every matter, in terms of having children, in terms of marrying. She should have a child. And there was one radical feminist. She said that if man want to have a child, if woman does not agree to have child, okay, let he rent the womb of other mother. And they also work is paid by the man. Like example, if man goes and works, they are paid. If you're working in a company, you are paid. But the same way, if cleaning, cooking. So these women are not paid. So they have to be paid so that they may get economically. So they say that because of the uh, patriarchal patriarchal views, the women are oppressed. So they wanted to have a reverse that from roots. So they should not be discriminated to the women's, and they should be paid, and there should be uh, they should be given equal opportunity to freedom of selection, uh, whatever is. They say that another focus on the cultural changes. They say that we should change the culture which is associated. They say that the hierarchical brought out. Like, for example, they say that if you believe that notion, the idea take birth, and when she get adult, she should be under his her husband, and when she get old, she should this idea should be brought out. So they should not be there as like women should not be independent. So they should be given as they wish to live. Why the women should not be paid for its work? Yes, Asma. Asma, you raised your hand. Asma. Okay. So this was the radical feminist. They wanted to have a radical change in culture which undermines the role of feminists in the society. So the next and last type of feminist is the Marxist feminist. As we uh, studied in Marxist perspective, they basically they concentrate on how the working class is exploited